Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of the Dirty Side of the Grid podcast, where we've turned up late to qualifying, but since everyone fell asleep, we snuck up to the front and no one actually noticed. I'm Mohamed, and I'm joined by Youssef, my co-host as usual, and we're just going to be running through the general race, what happened the weekend as a whole, seeing as it was a sprint race weekend. But as we normally do, as is tradition around here, we're going to start with Youssef, the return of Youssef's unrelated thing of the weekend before we even mention anything to do with the race. So, do you have a fun fact for us or something?
It's not a fun fact, it's a fun video. So I found a few fun facts, but this one's a funny video. So it's a video from 2010, before the start of the season, and on the city is sitting is David Coulthard. What's his name? Jordan. You've got also, I forgot his name, Martin Brundle, and like another guy. They're sitting on the couch and they're asking them like, who's gonna win the constructors? And everyone's like McLaren, whatever, Ferrari, whatever. And then it comes to the last one, and Dave is like Red Bull, and they're all laughing like, ha 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 ha, Red Bull, what a joke, what a joke. And then they go through the names, and then they're like, oh, who's gonna win the drivers? And then they say like, everyone says a name, and he says Sebastian Vettel, and they're all like, ha 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 ha, what a funny guy, It's so funny. Sure, they will win it. And then obviously, like Seb and Red Bull went on to win 4 back-to-back drivers and constructors. So
love to see
I found
it.
that video to be kind of
I got slated. I was on over the winter break. I was on what's it called, on Reddit a little bit, and I made a couple posts talking about how, like, in the comments, I just mentioned as like a passing comment, like, I don't think Mercedes are going to be that good. They'll be like third fastest team, or not third fastest, but like maybe second, but a bit behind Ferrari sort of thing. I didn't think Red Bull would be this good. I'm not going to take credit for all these predictions, but I got, everyone has given me some sort of analysis. They were like, Mercedes have built this giant, they've built an incredible dynasty. They've got all the best engineers and stuff. They've created a foundation where they'll just never fall off. Like, Mercedes dominance will just never end. And now we're here. And I mean, I'm not even going to get into it too fast, but like, yeah, no,
Can I just comment about one thing before
please don't.
Mohamed, obviously, like, if you watch the podcast, Mohamed's a big Lewis fan. Can I just say Lewis can't drive, obviously, because like he's in a Mercedes and he finished P13, bro. George finished P4, man.
Lewis and Mercedes are getting heated later on, so we'll save that for now. But first, before we even get into the weekend, I'm going to mention a few of the news stories in a little news roundup, news corner, whatever you want to call this. We'll come up with a name for the segment soon enough. But there's actually some big stories that came out of this week before the race. The first thing, Carlos Sainz, oh no, sorry, Charles Leclerc had his watch robbed. It's worth like a few $100K, I'm pretty sure. It's one of like 2 ever made or something. Richard Mille, given to him by sponsors, obviously. The guy, like, I think he asked for a picture, then robbed him of his watch. I don't know if it was at gunpoint or something, but Charles actually chased him in his Ferrari while they were on a moped, and then they ditched the moped and ran through the woods or something to escape him. Mad story, second driver in what, like a year to have his watch robbed.
Yeah, the other is, for those who don't know, Lando at Wembley.
Same Richard Mille as well, actually. But the thing is, it's mad because it has Charles's name engraved on the inside. So like really, who's buying that? Like, how are you gonna? Anyone with enough money is gonna know that's his. So
yeah, but that's the thing. You just buy it and keep it in a private collection. No one needs to know where you got it from.
I reckon it's. Imagine like Christian Horner buys or something and just wears it in the paddock. Just walk.
Where did you get that from? I found it on the street. It was just on the side of the road. I don't know.
Games.
I'm guessing it's a red, like Ferrari kind of color scheme. So like,
yeah, it's
we
actually
probably won't want to wear that.
It looks so good. Like red strap, bit of black on it. Like it looks good.
No, it doesn't.
This guy. All right. Second news story. I've only got there's 2 left. The second one, Carlos Sainz, that's a pun. He extends his contract to 2024. So he's now got another 2 years. That puts him at the same length as I think it now ends at the same time as Leclerc and quite a few other drivers. So 2024 is looking like the big year for contracts.
But Sainz did not exactly go on to do well on the weekend where he signed a new contract, did he?
Yeah, I mean Ferrari in general had an awful home race. But just to ask you about this, like, do you think they have the best driver lineup then? Like consider.
No, I think Mercedes has a better driver lineup overall, to be honest.
I mean,
With George obviously being able to kind of, he is keeping up with Lewis. I
yeah,
think they have a better overall lineup. Not for the future. Like obviously Mercedes are kind of limited by age, and like
yeah.
it's only going to be a 2-year one. But I think at this point, I think they have the best terrible car, but best driver lineup.
Not
Wait,
even. What
let
about
me
Red
close my
Bull?
window.
Is Red Bull not even?
No, I wouldn't put them on the list. To be honest. That's a bit much. I
I mean,
wouldn't put them on the
yeah,
list
it's
because I
probably,
think Sergio Perez is not exactly. He's good. He's a good driver. Don't get me wrong. I really like Sergio,
yeah,
but since he's been in the Red Bull, he hasn't been the most consistent driver. Like we've known him to be extremely consistent and all that stuff. But in the Red Bull, he hasn't been that consistent. Maybe it's also because he's been sacrificing a lot of his races for Max. But
yeah.
even on the races where he doesn't sacrifice, he has a lot of races where he's just kind of in the midfield stuck in what is clearly the best car in the grid. It's kind of like Valtteri, essentially. He was Valtteri 2.0.
I see that, but like,
But he can defend. Valtteri
that's
can defend.
yeah, that's very true. But even then, like, I don't know. He's not. He's doing all right, to be fair. Like, the thing is, you don't need him to be Max Verstappen because
No, but if he was getting him better results, they would have won the constructors last year.
yeah. But if we're talking at the moment, he's actually doing solid. Like, sort of. I think so. Is he? Hold on. Let me check the standings. Like,
Like
I'm
this
pretty
race is
sure.
the first time where he's actually been like very, very solid. But even his qualifying wasn't
He's
solid.
5 points behind Max. Okay, actually, Max is retired twice, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's 5 points behind.
He's retired once. Max retired twice, and he's only 5 points behind. He should be ahead, realistically.
Yes. We'll see. We'll see how things develop. And then the last news story actually comes out of Lewis Hamilton, who him and Serena Williams, they were they were confirmed, and actually he confirmed this as well, that they were going to put forward millions of pounds into buying Chelsea, which is up for sale, Chelsea Football Club.
And just comment, he's an Arsenal fan.
He is also an Arsenal fan. There was a lot of talk about that. I think I don't even know much more about that, to be honest. It's just
He sold
him
out
and
his club.
Serena buying. You know what? I will fully go to Stamford Bridge if he's at any of the games or something. I will go watch a Chelsea match. I don't even care. I probably wouldn't see him because he'd be in some fancy
Yeah,
box.
he's probably buying the club because he can't drive anymore. So he needs a new hobby. Driving is obviously too difficult for him.
Dealing with this for the whole hour, you know.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just doing this to annoy Mohamed. Okay, like it's not like based on like
It's fine. You know what it is? I
agreement
feel
with
like
these
if
views.
this was the 44 Agenda podcast and I was sat here constantly talking about Lewis, I feel like we'd half our audience because the Red Bull fans would turn off immediately. So
See, the
like
Red Bull fans are gonna
Max,
come just because I'm basically roasting.
they're gonna appreciate this. They're gonna
Yeah,
appreciate this. That's
Max
why
is much better than this, bro.
I'll go on the podcast Twitter account, yeah, and I'll just see like some horrible take about like, or not even horrible take. To be fair, sometimes it's just someone praising Max, and I'll see it and I'll cringe, and then I'm like, I'm not gonna like, because I'm following the Max Verstappen topic, the Max Verstappen Twitter account, because I need to be seeing like, I can't just like the things that I like on the podcast account, because otherwise I'm just gonna end up with one side of this, not one side of the story, but you know what I mean? It's just going to be people constantly going like, oh, but Lewis is the greatest. Oh, Lewis, he didn't have a bad race today. You know, like stop talking about him. And I'm not going to
That's
see.
what I don't get. It's like when fans are like, obviously the drivers had like a horrid race, and then they're like, nah, he was so good.
Bro,
Are you watching a different race?
screw it, bro. Right, let's just get into this, man. We're going to start with the best performance, though. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to start with the 60-second summary.
Yeah.
So, you're doing that. You're going to summarize the entire weekend in 60 seconds, including the sprint race. So you've got a bit of a job right now. All right. So here we go. 60 seconds.
Wait.
Emilia-Romagna made in Italy. Del Premio something. Grand Prix.
Give me a sec.
3, 2, 1, go.
In terms of qualifying, Mercedes was shocking. They both didn't get into Q3, which is like the worst qualifying since I think like Japan 2012. The rest of qualifying was kind of like you got a lot of, it's the most qualifying with safety cars, not really safety cars, red flags. The sprint race, boring. Max won. You got a bit of kind of interesting kind of Charles and Max kind of race. The rest of it was kind of boring. The race was very boring. The start was interesting. After that, it was there was no DRS, so everyone was just following. You didn't really get anything after that. And Max kind of built up a gap, and as he said, it was like this was a fun Sunday drive. Basically, no one even came close. Charles wasted a P3 because he got a bit too greedy, and Lewis was in P13. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. George and Lando performed incredibly. P3, P4. I think that's everything. Bottas, amazing. You got like a P5, I think. Yeah, that's pretty much the race. That's pretty much the weekend. It's like a very boring weekend. I'm not gonna.
Okay, all right. You're gonna hate me for this. You got 1 minute and 10 seconds, but
I was done like 10 seconds ago,
but
bro.
the problem is, I'm not gonna stop you anymore, bro. But the problem is, you know, when you had that massive pause and then mentioned Bottas for no reason,
Yeah.
that was a minute exactly. So once again,
I'm counting that as 160 seconds.
no, bro, no, you're
You're
not.
cheating,
No,
bro. You're cheating.
I
Bro.
not having.
If you told me, I would have
Stop it
stopped.
when
Man.
you stop. Listen, next time you say stop, and then I'll stop. That's how it is.
No.
You've got to
You
decide
have
when.
to. You have to say stop. That's 60
Nah,
seconds.
you've got to
That's the
decide
whole
when the
thing.
minute. No,
No. This is cheating, man.
you decide when the minute.
Then I'll time it and I'll ignore your timing from next time then.
No, you can't time it, bro.
Nah.
The point is to see how
You're not
well
telling me when to stop
you
then.
get between the minute. Nope.
No.
You got too good at the other one, man. I'm switching it up now. You have to guess what a minute is. You need to guess how long you're talking for.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no,
so
I'm putting on a
sprint
timer
race
next time.
weekend. You're gonna have notes next time, full on bullet points. Read it out. So before we get into the proper race, then what's just in general? This is the first of 3 sprint races they're doing this year. More points on offer. They've changed the format a little bit. Are you a fan of the sprints in general?
Can I just say, like, I actually forgot, like, there is a sprint race. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I didn't watch, but like, I followed FP1, FP2, and was it FP1, FP2, and then I thought it was like, it's fine, we're done for the day, yeah. And I'm just chilling and everything, and then it was like qualifying, and Sainz crashed. What? What Sainz is crashed? Bro, what happened, man? I don't know anything about this. And then like, yeah, it's a bit like. I don't know. Like, I totally forgot that's gonna happen. And so I was a bit screwed over. Like I didn't change my fantasy, I didn't do it. I wouldn't have changed it, but
bro,
still
you're
like
so lucky. I checked yours, yeah, because I was in the library actually when the second practice finished. So I was changing it like I think I watched qualifying in the library. And I was just changing my team and stuff, and I looked at yours and I was like, there's no way. You just didn't change any of it. And I didn't believe you. And then watching the race, because I remembered what your team was, because obviously you only need to remember like the cheap drivers or whatever. Bottas, I mean, we'll review it later, but Bottas did insane, and then Magnussen did solid, and then like
it's Sainz and Leclerc that were kind of disappointing.
yeah, but it wouldn't make sense to get rid of them yet. I mean, to be fair, I might get rid of Sainz soon. We'll see. Anyway, sprint. To be honest, like I don't know. In the commentary, right, they were saying, "Oh, it would be great to add another 10 laps to this." Oh yeah, we should make it longer. It's just getting good, and now we're gonna
It was a
shut up, man.
boring race.
You might as well just make it 2 races then. By that logic, you might as well just say, let's do qualifying on Friday. We'll have an entire race on Saturday, and then have another race on Sunday. Like you're turning it into F2 at this point. I don't know the proper F2 format, but it sounds like F1 is just going to make a feature race and then a proper race. Maybe have another race on Monday, because why not? Like,
it's
it
all
makes no
about
sense.
money.
Like,
I
I
think
don't
at this
get it.
point it's all about money and what can bring in more money. That's the whole, they were talking about a 30 race season. And the only reason you do a 30 race season is because you can get more money. And yeah.
I don't
The
know.
rulings were, I'm not gonna lie, like the past few weeks, I've just been a bit like, since we've been speaking about this stuff, when you kind of Like, I enjoy watching the sport. I love the sport and all of that. But with everything that's gonna happen, you're a bit kind of like, I don't really care as much because like
Yeah.
I feel like they're ruining the sport. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like with everything they're doing, I think they're actually ruining the sport. And you kind of like,
What do you mean by everything they're doing? Like, what's the?
no, not the new technical regulations, but in terms of like the talk about removing like races like Monza and like Monaco. Like, I dislike Monaco, and I know I go on about like how terrible Monaco is and all of that. But
Yeah.
you can't remove like those three races and Spa and stuff. You can't remove these races. But at the same time, they're like, oh, let's make a 30 race calendar. What? What are you talking about, man? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's tough. Like there were certain things they're experimenting with, like the whole hearing the team radio between the what's it called, the team principals and the race director. It was like
yeah,
a good
that to
idea
go.
initially, but obviously that got very Netflixized very quickly. Like everything just seems a little bit. I'm sort of seeing the same thing, and I was gonna do a topic about this later, but like we might as well do it now. F1 just seems like mad toxic at the moment. Like I don't know what it is, but I only got into like the Twitter side of things like a few months ago, maybe near the end of like last season. And right now like it's terrible. I've seen, hold on, I wrote down examples of like what was going
I
on.
think
There's
I
some
think
mad
Drive
stuff.
to Survive is what's pushing it, to be honest. Like, if I'm being very honest, I actually think Drive to Survive is causing a lot of these issues.
Yeah.
Uh, I was gonna say Dirty Side of the Grid instead of Drive to Survive. Uh, no, but like, if we're being very honest, I actually think it is causing a lot of issues and it's causing a lot of problems. And like they have added, like, I think according to F1, it's added, Drive to Survive has added like 73 million new viewers, and like it's pushed up like the race viewership by like 54%, and it's pushed up the value to 13 billion from, I think, like it was 3 4 billion something like that. So
Yeah.
obviously it's added a lot of value to like F1 as a sport, but I think that's the good side of it. I think the other side of it is getting people who don't know what they're talking about going on and being like, Lewis had a great race, bro. He came in P13, man.
But there's the thing, here's like, so some of it is like definitely with the broadcasting side, and that I would say comes something to do with Netflix or whatever, this new idea of trying to make everything drama. And then there's another side of it where it's literally just the fans like doing stuff. Like I'm seeing people now, right? They'll compare how F1 will post things, like they'll compare like the wording of the F1 posts when something happens compared to something else. So they're trying to figure out like if F1 has an agenda against certain drivers on social media. Then they'll do a lot of things. There's been a lot of comparison now where like uh obviously Charles Leclerc initially for literally just after 3 races was being called better than Max Verstappen, and now he makes this one mistake, and everyone's like, if you're making fun of Charles, they're like, oh no, but he's still better than your driver. He's really good. And if you're not making fun of Charles, he's made a mistake. Like, why aren't you like all these people who are saying he's championship material? Why aren't you like on his back right now? Like, it's the moment something happens, you should either be not reacting and you'll get slated for it, or you should be like really on this person because remember how you were destroying, I don't know, whoever it was, science earlier for spinning or whatever, and now you're not having a go at Charles. Like there's a lot of
Mm.
comparison between situations. They'll like compare things last year. I've got like a list right here. Like there was this graphic is mad. They did, as Max was lapping Lewis, they did a time comparison
Oh,
between Max and Lewis. The time comparison is normally put between two people who are racing, and they'll be like, 2 seconds apart or whatever. They'll do like a little live gap. They did one for between Max and Lewis, and their gap was like 77 seconds. Like, like why? It's so annoying, and I hate this because it's so embarrassing. But like, there's clearly
but
no
I see
reason
that. I see
other
that. I
than
see
like,
that.
do you know what I mean? They did the
I
same
see.
thing
I
with
see that one.
Marco, Helmet Marco, who's always toxic anyway. Got
Mm.
asked about it was actually quite tame from him to be fair. It's not as bad as he normally is, which is horrendous. But like, so someone from Sky Sports and they was posting this video everywhere asked about Max lapping Lewis or something, and then he said like with a little grin on his face, maybe he should have retired last year or something like that. Like it's normal, but do you know what I mean? It's just giving opportunities for like things to happen. So there was a video as well of Alonso laughing at Charles when he spun, Like he's literally just doing like a media talk or something. He turns to the TV and he sees Charles spinning, and he starts like chuckling to himself. And then on top of that as well, there was two other things. Nico Rosberg. I'm gonna save this for later.
I was literally just gonna comment. I saw his
Rosberg. Why
comment.
on earth is he there? You know, I'm not gonna talk too much about the topic specifically, but like, bro, how are you gonna? I get that he's a world champion and you want his opinion on things, but the guy's in Australia with his headphones on. Like, oh my god, I just realized my audio must be horrific. My audio
He
must
literally
actually
he literally
apologize
said
for audio right now.
he literally came out and said it's very smart, like Toto apologizing to Lewis. It's very smart because it's not quite the truth. And let's not forget that Russell is in P4 with the same car, so Lewis definitely had a big role to play in that poor result.
Wait, do I sound better now?
Yeah, he sounded a bit better. Did you hear what I said?
Guess who I am? Yeah, I heard the quote, bro. I saw ESPN were posting it and stuff. Like motorsport.com, I think, posted it. Like,
There was
I'm
one more comment.
literally Rosberg right now. Like, I've got my headset on, I've got my little mic out. Like, bro, like I get he's a world champion, but like, if you need
No,
him so
I actually really like him.
you
I
need him so
actually
bad,
really
fly him
like.
out. Then get him on the track. Like, get him trackside.
Yeah,
Get him
I
mic.
agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with him not being on like the
You don't get him
radio
on
or that.
commentary. Why on earth is Paul di Resta chatting? I don't want to hear Paul di Resta's voice, bro. Do you know? You know what the biggest thing that annoyed me? Yeah, you know when obviously it's been a dead race. Crofty's been hyping up overtakes that were never going to happen. He's like watching someone, well, he's watching mainly Lewis try and overtake Gasly for the whole race. Every time Lewis gets even closer, he's like, oh, and he's going to go for the move, and he stays behind Gasly. Like he's trying to give energies to something that isn't happening. So he normally, by the end of the race, obviously, he gives himself the little speech, and Max Verstappen wins the race. Charles Leclerc, like Perez comes home in second. Lando Norris, great performance. Paul di Resta cuts him off and chats about Norris for a good 20 minutes, missing the next 5 drivers that cross the line. Crofty, like, this is his big moment now. He spent an hour and a half watching the deadest race of his life, and now he's got one moment to bring his voice back up and get the energy back like he does from the first lap.
Yeah.
And he's trying to hype everything. And, you know, Lewis Hamilton's crossed here, and, like, you know, oh, Tsunoda, what a great performance from it. Bro, it's cut off. He missed like 4 man because Paul di Resta's analyzing Lando Norris's like performance or something. Like, bro, leave it out, man. I actually just don't want to hear him speak.
I have a few things to comment. Red Bull posted Max is working his way through lap traffic
Yeah, I
when
saw
he was
that.
passing Lewis.
Cheeky.
I really
That's
like
what
that comment.
I like.
The
I
next
like it
one,
when it's sly, but like,
yeah, the next one is what's his name? Helmut Marko. He someone asked him about Lewis. He's like, maybe he should have stopped last year.
that's the one I mentioned. Yeah, exactly. And they had the little winking face and all of this. Like, there's competition, yeah, and then there's being like a little bit sly with your comments, and there's having a dig at other people, and it was all friendly and stuff. But like, when you've got these mad fan bases that are just chatting a bit too much, it all gets out of hand way too quickly, and you can't be giving people these big opportunities to just slate people and abuse people. And here's the biggest one, yeah. Here's if you're thinking I'm like overdoing it or I'm being a bit over dramatic, right? The Ferrari fans, there's this one picture of Lewis that people have used for years, where when he used to like complain on the radio or whatever it is, they photoshopped a picture of like a black baby on into like a Mercedes suit, and they've been using that forever. Someone printed that out onto what looked like maybe an A3 size sheet of paper or maybe bigger, and had it as like a poster along with all the rest of the Ferrari fans. That's actually disgusting. Like, I hate seeing that picture anywhere online in general, and it just like after Spain 2008 or something, where the people turned up in blackface against Lewis, and they had like literally like Lewis's family T-shirts while they were in blackface. Past that point, you'd think no one would be allowed. I'm pretty sure there was another yellow poster that had like "Sir Cheat" on it, "Karma's coming" or something like that. But how were people allowed at the races with these kind of posters? Because it's one thing to like abuse people online and stuff, which is already horrendous, but now you're actually going past security at the track and waving these things at people. Sure, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would be nice to see Sky, F1 TV, whoever it is, like these big platforms need to work on. Obviously, they can't fix anything and they can't do much, but like, I guess a conscious effort needs to be made from whoever has influence in F1 to just be like, listen, there's making fun of a driver for not having a good race, and there's poking fun at performances and stuff, or when you go at a person's character, or you go at a person's skin color, or you bring it outside of the racing in terms of like death threats and all of this stuff. Like this stuff needs to be policed, and these people need to be like,
But I don't think
I don't
that's
know, like
down
I
to
don't
like
see the reason.
Sky Sports or whatever. Like I think it's more down like the teams have already posted stuff about this last year, you know, and I think it's after the race, all of them stood and kind of like they posted something like solidarity with Lewis because he was getting a lot of racist abuse. But I don't think like Sky Sports or whatever, I don't think they'd actually do anything. I think it's more along the lines of like the social media platforms need to kind of police this a bit better. I think the at races, if you're getting people posting these things, that needs to be monitored
Yeah,
a bit.
the fact
So
of
I don't think it's just like I don't think it's actually Sky Sports or because you see this in football a lot. You see in
no,
football
of
where
course,
it's
yeah, that goes without saying though.
like in
I'm
football is like in some places actually like a lot worse. Like with some players it's like way worse. And you saw it like no one can do anything about it. I think I heard Rio Ferdinand was talking about this. He's like, you know, we shouldn't be allowed, like we shouldn't be seeing this stuff in like 2022 and all of that. But there is no kind of it's more prevalent there and there is nothing that's been done about it. I
yeah.
think it's more
Uh,
down to the social media kind of platforms policing
we'll
it.
see, man. I mean, it was the same thing last year, like when they were actually doing the whole kneeling stuff or whatever it is. Like in football, you'll get all 22 players kneel down before the match. Everyone gets the big image of it. In F1, they'd cut away from that mad quickly. Like they were mad uncomfortable. I'm pretty sure they put in a new rule at the start of this year to stop people like Lewis wearing the t-shirts with like messages on them before on the podium and stuff like that. And only like 6 of the drivers would be kneeling or something like that because you know it's against whatever it is. Like I don't know. At that point, it's just mad dodgy. Like
Mhm.
if you can't get all of them in unity in one message, which is why they made their own message, "We race as one," and then ended up doing nothing with it. Like yeah, it's just I don't know. You can tell that there's a divide. There's a difference. Like obviously on football, there's big ends of the scale, but I feel like the majority of people in football are a lot better than the ones in F1 at the moment.
I think it's
But
I don't think it's actually the I think like football in like I think when it comes to F1 it's always been kind of like resistant to change because of the people who are like in charge of it essentially. And so you kind of see like you see that now where they're uncomfortable by the idea of like, you know, the kneeling and all of that. So they're like, okay, yeah, let's not
yeah,
really
yeah,
include all
exactly.
this
They
stuff.
feel mad awkward about it.
Yeah. So I think yeah, I think maybe it's because you know F1 has always been kind of resistant to this type of change.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully something changes eventually. I don't know. There's been movement forwards, but I don't know. We'll move on
We'll
from
see.
this because yeah, there's not a lot we can do about it right now. But you know what? If we once we build this platform, it's when you see it. Because actually, there's a lot of black, not influence, but there's people now like you know I've seen black people making podcasts and stuff on F1 and stuff talking about it. Could you see them on Sky Sports F1 TV eventually? Could I maybe meet Ted Kravitz? Oh my God, here's another thing, yeah. There's these two men, yeah. I think they used to make a football podcast or something, right? But while I was checking out some other F1 podcasts, I found these two guys, and turns out they've got like a big audience. They make an F1 podcast. It's only like half an hour long. It's these two white guys, and they chat about it from a new fan's perspective. So they literally know absolutely nothing and they're chatting
Okay.
about F1 and they've got a full-on podcast about it. And you're like, cool, you know, fresh angle, that's quite cool. I don't know how they've got a massive audience out of it, but like fair enough, cool. Like well played to you. They're literally like in the paddock just walking around. And then Ted Kravitz comes at them with his microphone during the sprint qualifying notebook and starts chatting to them for 5 minutes. Like these men actually just got like a massive plug as well. Like Ted was telling them like, oh yeah, what's your podcast called? Yeah, it's quite cool. Oh yeah, maybe I should make a podcast. How on earth, bro? My Twitter account is literally called Ked Travitz. I've, you know, Tommy from WTF1,
Mm.
he quote tweeted my tweet about Ted because he made a tweet about Ted. I'll link it in the YouTube or whatever it is. And these men actually ended up like on the notebook. Not only are they at the race, but they're in the paddock with VIP passes and they're meeting Ted. I don't know if they paid for these tickets, but either way, and there's no price on getting on the notebook. Like whoever you are, please I need to meet Ted. There are two people in F1 that I need to meet, and the first one is Lewis Hamilton, and the close second is
Paul
Ted
the wrestler,
Kravitz.
bro. We
If I
both know
met
that's the truth,
Lewis,
bro.
if I met Lewis and Ted in the same day, even meeting Paul the wrestler would not ruin that day for me. Like
No,
that's how
you need
vibey
to
that's.
meet Paul the wrestler. He's your best friend, bro. He's your best
Bro,
friend. You know, I just
anyway,
realized on like our Twitter, you just keep posting about Lewis Hamilton, bro.
do I?
Like,
This is what I'm
yeah,
saying, bro. Then you need to cancel it out by tweeting about other stuff. Like
bro. Like
follow
our,
us on
our Twitter
Twitter.
is just
It's
Lewis
called.
Hamilton. Lewis
Then
Hamilton is.
you post. I'm trying not to. I really try not to. I'd save that for my personal one, but you should try and post more.
Yeah, if you see a lot of Lewis Hamilton stuff, it's not me, it's him. It's his fault. It's not my fault.
Did
Okay,
you like
let's move on.
did you like the Star Wars one though? I posted that.
Uh,
I quote tweeted Mercedes after the sprint race. If you haven't seen the tweet, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi and in Revenge of the Sith when he's screaming at Anakin saying you were the chosen one. And I said you were the chosen one, Mercedes. You were supposed to destroy the midfield, not join them. I thought it was a great reference. Anyway, if you got that, then you got that, and
no, I've never watched Star Wars, so
you're a nerd. That's awful. Okay, so
I'm a nerd for not
get on.
watching Star Wars. Like,
Star Wars is legendary, bro. Don't try it. If I post this,
uh,
if I make this a TikTok, you will get slated for not having watched Star Wars. Right.
yeah, unfortunately.
So cool. Let's just get on to the race, man. What do you reckon? Who had the best performance? Who's in for you personally? One man, best performance. We'll name some other names, but for you,
Across the weekend or
who
just
was
the
it?
race?
We'll go with just the race.
Max. No. Best performance. I'd say George.
George. Interesting. Okay.
I'd
Is
say
there a
it's
reason for
between
that?
George, Norris, and Bottas. I think those two. No, I think Bottas had kind of quite a race. It's just he's luckier then. I think Norris. No, George. You have to say it's George because like you look at Lewis, he's in the same car and like Lewis is P13 and he's just going nowhere. And George managed to get all the way up there. And he was talking about how like obviously he's like physically like he's getting a lot of like back pain and all of this stuff because of all the bouncing and stuff. So you have to kind of give him credit for all of that stuff. So I'd say best performance is George by far.
Okay. I mean, I'm up for it. I'd say for similar reasons, Norris would be in contention for me. I I really don't know what happened to Ricardo after the incident with Science, but like
He
I
just got
think
stuck in the DRS train basically.
yeah, I mean
Before
I guess it's
DRS was
unlucky he was
enabled.
there, but I'd say Norris did well. Russell's another good option. Bottas, yeah, I don't know these people. There's Sonoda actually had a solid performance.
Mm.
Sonoda did very well. Vettel, I say, deserves a shout as well. Like I know I'm just naming these people like off the thing because I mean essentially someone's gonna get up there, but Vettel, like considering where Aston Martin were before, and for him to manage to hold on to that place, I thought he would have dropped quite quickly.
All teams have scored points now.
Yeah, that's good to
If
see.
you watched our predictions at the beginning of the season, that was one of the questions. Will all teams score points? And I said yes. And
I
you
said
said
no.
no.
I said no. Ah man, yeah, it's tough.
Literally, we're not even halfway through the season. We're just like what, 5 races in, 4 races
Or,
in,
yeah,
4 races in, and everyone has scored points.
it's good stuff, man. It's good to be fair. I
They are
wouldn't
following
expect
a
this,
lot better. They are following a lot better. I think
but
if
they're
it
not
was a dry
overtaking
race,
better though, are they?
no, I think it's just the track this time wasn't very conductive to kind of overtaking. Uh, and plus half the race was done under no DRS.
Yeah, why is that, bro? Like, here's the thing. We need to. Do you wanna? I'm okay. I'm gonna ask you this question, right? How do you fix DRS? Because without DRS, there were no overtakes happening, and then with DRS, aside from the DRS trains, it was just too easy. So like, what do you do? Because there's only one zone here in Imola, so you can't say reduce the number of zones because that clearly didn't do anything.
I think it's just the track was horrible, man. Like Imola realistically, like I would say like with the new regulations, you could see like they were following so close for so long. Like I would say
Yeah,
they fixed that part where they can follow for a really long time, really closely. But like in terms of DRS, I don't know what they could do. As long as they don't go and do something like Formula E where it's like fans vote for like a boost and all of this weird stuff, man.
they'll just give it to Latifi or something.
Bro,
Here's the
that's just a
problem.
joke, man.
Here's the
That's why
problem.
Formula E is a joke, is because fans can vote for who gets like a boost.
Bro,
Or you have to
here's the
go on
thing.
this part of the track to get boost. What's this? They watch too much of what was it? There's that movie where they go over the like things on the floor and then he gets like to shoot people and all of that. They watch too many movies, man. And now they added it to Formula E.
Right. Here's the thing, yeah. Like in 2017 they changed the regulations to try and make the cars faster. They made them like really wide. The tires looked really stupid because the rear tires were really wide and the front ones are still really thin. And they're like, cool, F1's the pinnacle motorsport. We need faster lap times. Let's do this. And they completely ruined the racing. Now they've come here and they're like, what we need to do is make them closer together. So what are they doing? They've changed the regulations and now they can follow closer. Good job. Like, these DRS trains, people spent the entire race within a second of each other. But there was no overtaking, there was no entertainment. Like the whole point was the middle thing was to make everyone follow better. The end goal was to make the races more entertaining. You've now had them follow each other for the entire race, and where was the entertainment? Like it's not there.
But I think that's the second part of it. You can't expect them to solve both issues and like one fix of the technical regulations. Like that's unrealistic.
So
You
what
have
are
to
they
you
gonna
have to
do
you have
now?
to give them credit for okay, now the cars are following a lot better. The next step is I think with DRS or other tracks, they were able to like overtake. We didn't have like DRS trains. This is the first race of the season where we had DRS trains. And so like the other races we didn't really. So I have to say like it's just you have to give them credit for the new technical regulations.
I
It's like
don't want to ever
one
give them
one
credit.
race one race out of four is not enough to say like this is bad. Maybe you need to change the layout of it. Maybe we will see as the season goes on. Maybe it's like the high downforce tracks. Um, the cars aren't really able to overtake as much, but it could be just because of the rain. Like yesterday, drivers weren't able to overtake because if you go on the outside, you go into the wet patch, you end up flying essentially off the dry line. So it could be the case where if we had a dry race there, it could have been a much better race. So I don't think like I blame the technical regulations straight away. I say that they've done a good
No,
job.
no, I mean, I'm saying, yeah, no, the regulations are good. It's just like you need to, I'm saying maybe you need some stuff alongside it to help out.
Yeah,
Like
but you
whatever
can't
you're doing with
expect
the
that to all come
DRS,
in
like
1 year. Like you get the new technical regulations, they test it out for 1 year. They're like,
I'm impatient,
okay,
bro. I just watched my driver finish in 14th place, not even 13th. He
13.
finished 14th on the road, and then the penalty
Oh,
pushed them up to 13th.
bro, I've been
14th on the
telling you for
road.
a long time
Bro,
you can't
change this
drive,
stuff
man.
now. Change this
You
stuff
can't
now,
drive, man.
please.
You can't
Bro,
drive.
before we get to this car park of a circuit, like I need changes now. Like Mercedes, what are you doing? Like give me some
You can't
upgrades. I
drive,
need
man.
something, bro.
Lewis can't
Ah,
drive.
well, okay, we'll screw it. Like, okay, are we even? Yeah, worst performance. Let's go. Go on.
Lewis.
All right,
Lewis.
here we
It's
go.
not
Go
even
on.
a competition. It's
Give us
very
a clip,
easy.
man. Let's go for it. Give us a clip for the Max fans on TikTok.
Lewis is. I don't have a clip. I'm not gonna put a clip. But Lewis, I think Lewis was worst performance. I think especially like what made it worse is George's performance. Like I think if
You
George
know,
had finished like P12, P11, like in qualifying, no one would have really spoke a lot about it. It would have been like, Mercedes are a midfield team now. And they would have blamed the whole team. But when one of your drivers gets P4 and the other gets like P14 actually, you stop there and you're like, it's their fault. It's not really the car's fault. Like we know Mercedes are slow this year. And I understand a bit why so apparently what's happening is for those who don't know is they don't have a lot of support for the floor at the back. And so what happens is when they go very quickly, because there isn't any support, the floor actually goes down to the floor. And what that ends up happening is the car gets stuck, so it gets bounced up and then keeps going into repeat. Where because if they had a bit more support for the floor, it would stay up and it would actually wouldn't get sucked too much and then cause this bouncing essentially. But because they went with the very thin side pods, they don't support the floor.
no, no, no. Wait,
So
hold on. So, wait, when were you about to?
do you want me to re-explain?
I'm trying to think of the solution, right? So you're
There
saying,
is no solution. The
yeah,
thin
no,
side pods are not supporting the back floor. And so what's happening is it's causing essentially like when it generates a lot of downforce, these edges get stuck, like they get pulled down, they cause essentially like stall or whatever. And then it causes the bouncing, and then you generate a lot of downforce again, and then it just you lose downforce, it flies up.
But
So when
if
it comes down, like when you generate a lot of downforce, your edges, because there's no support, they come down. They have like this wire essentially.
but
Your
yeah,
edges
like
come
if you
down,
want more support to
you
stop
lose
it from
downforce.
flexing, you're gonna need to add weight, right?
That's why Ferrari have the big side pods, because that's what actually ends up supporting
So
the
if they're gonna
backflow.
stick with the no side pods and they need to add support onto the
They
rear of the
might
car,
just have to
that's
use like
whatever that solution is, it's gonna add weight to the car, right?
probably they might have to add instead of that they might just have to use like tougher material on the back floor, like in terms
Which
of
is
like the
going to weigh
material.
more, right?
Yeah, basically.
Bro, and they're already overweight. Ah, this is tragic. This is so bad. Anyway, I mean,
They thought
so
our car is amazing, but when we fix the bouncing would be so great. Yeah, but when you fix the bouncing, the season's over.
this is pain. This is actual pain. We'll see. We'll
Now,
see.
the
I
truth
don't know
is,
how much
the
longer this is
truth
gonna
is,
last.
Lewis can't drive.
Okay, look, awful weekend, terrible stuff.
No,
Couple
I
caveats.
really enjoyed it. Enjoyed
George,
watching Lewis in P14. Is so much fun.
George got like he did well to be fair to him. He finessed the first lap. The incident with Ricardo and Science, like it held up a few people. He got like a little, he finessed his way through it and gained a few positions. With Lewis, he was already like struggling, and then that pit stop with the unsafe release from what's his name, Ocon.
Esteban Ocon.
Yeah, like that just made everything worse. He ended up getting stuck behind all these people. The penalty obviously was introduced at the end of the race, which meant that Lewis was just suffering for the rest of the race. Because obviously, if he was asked to give the place back or whatever, then the benefits are immediate. Either way, just watching him behind Gasly the whole time was actually painful. Like it's
Yeah, the race is very boring when they just keep showing Lewis and Gasly going at it, and there's nothing there. It's like Lewis gets closer and then he's too far away. Lewis gets
yeah,
it's
they couldn't
boring.
even find anything else to show. They were just sat there watching that the whole
And
time.
also like for such a long time there was no DRS. I don't get that because the rain has stopped, everyone's in slicks and stuff. I don't really get that, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't understand the meaning behind that. But other people in contention,
No, it's just Lewis.
Ricardo,
It's Lewis. It's Lewis. It's Lewis.
Ricardo didn't do
It's
great.
Lewis. It's Lewis.
I'm gonna say who else had an awful weekend?
Are
Leclerc.
you gonna try
Leclerc,
and
bro.
cover up for your driver? Yeah.
Yes,
Just
I need
admit
to throw
Lewis
in.
had
Let me just sprinkle in some other names
no.
quickly. Like,
Lewis is
Leclerc's
literally
mistake.
like off.
Leclerc's mistake.
Yeah, but he's
Not
not the
good.
worst driver of the
Terrible.
weekend.
Listen,
It's
what a
Lewis.
horrible mistake. He really shouldn't have spun it behind Perez. Tragic stuff, to be honest. That was
Yeah, but
second.
Lewis was
Like if
worse.
he
Lewis
would
was
have
in
had that overtaken,
P14, bro.
he would have had that
Lewis was
overtake.
in
That would have been second place. Could have even got himself the
Lewis was in
fastest lap as well.
P14.
That's a lot of
Lewis was
points
in
right there.
P14.
If Leclerc loses the championship, I'm gonna think back to this day, and I'm gonna be like, listen, clearly he was the worst driver. Yeah, to
Yeah,
be honest,
but
there's no other
Lewis
names I
is in
can have for
P14.
this, to be honest.
You said all of this, but you know the end, Lewis is the worst driver.
Yeah, of this weekend, I can't lie. He's had an awful time.
Yeah.
Yes, it's bad. Right. Next, okay, we're going with the underrated drive. Quite a few people would like mentioned, Max is obvious, like dominating out front or whatever, but who would you say like has kind of
Sonoda.
gone under the radar?
Sonoda. I think he did a very good job on like people. I think he finished, is it P7?
Yes, yeah.
You have to say that's a good job for him, especially like he outperformed Gasly by a margin. Like Gasly was nowhere to be seen all race. So I
Gasly
have to
what?
say
Yeah,
you have to
12.
give him kind of credit for that. Very impressive. It's been actually like Sonoda has been quite solid this year.
True. Yeah, he's done solid. I'd say Bottas is up there as well. If he made that move on Russell at the end, he definitely would have been rated a lot higher from in terms of like position wise and stuff. But it's a good drive from him, and in general this year as well, he's been another one that's been like pretty consistent. Like he's ended up finishing quite highly almost all the races he's
Bottas
done.
has
I
been
think
amazing
he's.
this year. I think Bottas has outperformed Lewis basically this year, which is
I'm
ironic.
pretty sure actually, in a mad way, he's only like a couple points behind him in the standings. Whereas
It's ironic that
yeah, he's
Bottas has
4 points. Bro, Bottas is 4 points off Lewis in the standings.
Imagine Bottas
Oh.
finishes ahead of Lewis this year.
No,
The
no, let's not
irony.
get ahead of ourselves, bro. Let's not get ahead of
The
ourselves.
irony.
Let's not
They
get ahead of
kicked
ourselves.
Bottas out, and then they should have kicked Lewis out. That was the truth,
Lewis
isn't
had
it?
the unsafe release thing to deal with, and then last race he had the safety car thing that pushed
Excuses.
George ahead of him
Excuses.
anyway. You
Excuses.
know, He's got the
This
no
is-
sidepod car. Everyone knows no side pods was an awful thing. Even obviously, I'm massive aerodynamicist. I knew the moment they had no side pods, I was like,
Boy, you were so excited. You were like, oh, they're gonna be quick because they don't have a lot of drag. That's literally what you thought.
you know, there's this one guy who tweeted. He's a big guy. I hate that it's being used against him now, but like he mentioned like having no side pods is a great innovation. You know, like it's going to be hard to copy because of the engine freeze, and it's a brilliant innovation and it's incredible engineering, and this means that Mercedes are going to be quick for quite a few years now because it's going to be hard to copy or something like that. And now that it hasn't worked out, everyone's like destroying him. Like every couple of days, I see this tweet again from Max fans going on about how like dumb it is or whatever. Like I could completely see where he was coming from, and there's justification for it. It's just unlucky now that the no side pods was just it's all for sure. And the car looks ugly now for no reason. Like it's actually so ugly. I don't like the look of it. It's just awful.
It's funny, man. It's funny listening to you trying to come up with excuses for why Lewis is not at fault for all of this.
Bro, I never said that.
You're like, oh, safety car, oh,
I'm seeing
unsafe
no,
release,
there's things.
oh,
Okay,
DRS train, oh.
I'm not saying these things because it means that it wasn't him. I'm saying these things because there are other things to consider. But yes, if you really want to say it, like he should have got past him. Not a great result. Didn't drive
He's a
very well.
terrible driver.
Whatever. Right. So for the controversies, we've got a couple incidents here I want to ask for your opinion on. First of all, I don't know if you saw in the sprint race, but Gasly and
I didn't know
Joe,
there was a sprint race.
Gasly and Joe on lap 1, there was like an incident where they crashed into each other. I think Gasly actually ended up with a puncture or something. Like the guy is so unlucky, he just always ends up ruining his race somehow. In sprint races at least. Do you remember the incident? And if you do, who was at fault for it?
I didn't know there was a sprint race. I'm just gonna stand by saying that.
Did you not even watch it?
No, I watched some of it. I watched I
Oh,
didn't
okay,
watch.
alright.
No. I actually watched the sprint race. Yeah, because I saw Leclerc overtake Verstappen. That's what I saw.
Oh, that's it.
They didn't keep. I don't think they really showed like what happened with the Gasly and
I think they would have done, but it would have been one of the
Joe.
first clips because it was first lap. Anyway, we'll leave it. In a similar instance, Science
I watched it from the
and
beginning, but I don't remember.
there
I'm
was
not
Science
gonna
and
lie.
Ricardo. I mean, I agree with. I think Joe should have given them more space. It was kind of an obvious one, but I thought if we potentially have differing opinions,
I think Ricardo's at fault.
Ricardo's at fault for the Carlos
Yeah,
and Ricardo.
because Carlos gave him quite a lot of space.
Should he have got a penalty?
Yes.
Ooh, penalty. What
Well, he's
kind?
in P15, so it wouldn't make a difference. But I think he should.
Yeah, but what
gotten-
kind though?
I'll give him like a maybe 5-10 second penalty. 5 second penalty. I
10.
think.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, like 10 second, not stop go, but like just 10 seconds.
Yeah. Well, no, but if you're giving him 10 seconds and it's at the start of the race, he's going to have to serve that in a, what's it called? In a pit stop, which means it essentially would be a stop go.
Yeah, but he's already stopping. Like he has to stop for his pit stop, so it's not really like a stop go. Like it's like
Oh,
where you
right. As
come
in,
in,
oh, okay.
you
Got
have
you.
to
Yeah.
stop. So it's 10 seconds plus all
Plus
the
the
time
pit
to
stop.
come into
That's a
the
lot,
pit.
though. Would you have, you'd
No,
give
I
him
would
10
not have
seconds
given
for
him
that?
that much. No. That's what I'm saying. I would have only given him 10 seconds, not a 10-second stop go.
Right. I'd say racing instant. I can't lie. He's definitely at
No.
fault. Don't get me
Because
wrong. He's definitely
I
at
think
wrong.
Carlos
He's at fault
Carlos gave
whatever
him
it
a
is.
lot of space. Like if you watch the clip, Carlos gave him a lot of space on the outside, and Carlos was ahead. Carlos was very far away. Carlos didn't do anything, and then he just hit. Like Carlos had also a very
Yeah.
good recovery drive in the sprint race. Like he qualified badly, he
Bro,
recovered quite
yeah.
well. He's going
Felt
on
so
to do
bad.
well, and then just like if Lewis
Both of
was
them
in that
started
car,
awfully,
you
actually.
wouldn't say racing instead. You would say like he's at fault, Ricardo.
No, I still say he's at fault. I'm not saying that Carlos isn't at fault. I mean, whatever. No, I am saying Carlos
Ricardo is
isn't
at fault.
at fault. Ricardo definitely lies 100% of the blame, but because it's like a first lap thing, and I think he lost it a little bit. Actually, I might give him 5 seconds. I might give him 5.
That's what
I
I'm saying.
definitely wouldn't give him 10. I
No,
might give
that's
him
what I'm
10.
saying. I wouldn't give him 10. I'll give him 5 seconds. That's what I'm trying to
Oh,
say.
you'd give him a. Oh, okay.
That's what I've been literally trying
No,
to say.
you were
since then.
saying I'd give him 10 seconds instead of
No,
a
I said
10-second
5
stop
or 10,
go.
and then I said 5. And then you said, oh, 10 it would be a stop go. So I said, no, I wouldn't give him a stop go.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
So I'm saying either 5 or 10 seconds, just like extra on his time.
Yeah, five's fair. But it's unfortunate, yeah, Carlos, once again, race ruined. People are actually talking about him. I'm seeing pictures of him compared with Barrichello, people saying that he's now a certified second driver and all of this.
I think it's a bit too early to say that. Like,
That's what I mean,
obviously, he
bro.
hasn't won any race yet, and I think like Charles is showing that he's miles ahead of him, and it's kind of payback for last year where Carlos came ahead and won at the end, very luckily, let's say. But I think like this season, he's really going to show his kind of. I think Ferrari know like they're thinking of bringing Schumacher maybe in a year or so, or maybe in 2 years. But I think
Yes.
he's shown that he's a very solid second choice. Like if you have Carlos on Charles, Charles will go on to most likely win the championship. But Sainz he'll be a very good second driver.
Is he a full? Yeah. Okay. Let's say
I don't think
eventually he
he's
settles into the
Bottas.
second. Is he actually a second driver right now, though?
No, I think
Or
now
will
it's still open. I think now I think this season is up for grabs. Like whoever wins this season, I think will set the pace because he's gonna most likely win the championship. I think
yeah.
he'll set the pace for him. But Carlos has just not been on pace so far.
Here's the thing,
Like
though. Like 90% of people in F1, they have a memory that lasts exactly one race weekend. Like
mm,
last year, everyone's chatting so much about Carlos. Oh, he's so underrated, you know. Like the number of he's so underrated. You know, he's actually really underrated. You know, people actually don't notice how good Carlos is. And the word underrated and Carlos Sainz were just put together like for the entire year, constantly singing his praises. Now it's been like 4 races, and he's been unlucky in some of them. And other times, yes, like you could argue if he just stuck it on pole or stuck it in second, he wouldn't have to deal with this kind of stuff. Uh, at least in qualifying, and then you could have an easy like cruise into first or second for the race. But like it hasn't been that long. What happened to like he's built his reputation over years, like actual years. He's gone to Renault, he's gone to McLaren, he's gone to Ferrari now before like for last year, and he's done solid in all of them. And he's built this huge reputation going from the midfield to the front of the pack. And now 4 races in, he's suddenly, he's a midfield driver now, to be honest. He's actually so bad, put him in second place. He might as well be on an alternate strategy, pit 4 times, pit to get the fastest lap of the race, get out of Charles Leclerc's way, maybe even warm his tires up for him, like go find his lost watch. Like, bro, I don't know, it's just a bit too extreme. Like everyone gets a bit too ahead of themselves right now. Like,
I think it's like what made him appear very like everyone is saying he's underrated is because he came ahead of um Charles last year.
oh right, the standings was used a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what made him seem like obviously he's a very good driver. No one's saying he's not. But I think that kind of maybe overestimated his performances. Maybe.
I don't know, we'll see. I'm still not fully convinced that he's going to be like a full-on hell locked-in second driver
No,
sort of
no,
thing.
no. I
Even
think
with the
it
points
won't be
difference
a
they have now
Bottas
and
thing.
stuff like.
Don't think it'll be a Bottas thing. I think it'll be a bit more competitive because he's a bit more competitive than Bottas. Let's say.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like he's earned this reputation, so I don't understand. Anyway, that's the incident stuff. Is there anything that, well, I know I'm going to rinse this section, but like we've done in what I'm calling controversy corner for now. Probably come up with a better name for that too. Uh, we've done the incidents and we've discussed the Carlos and Ricardo thing. Do you have anything that was like a slightly annoying, like how I mentioned
No
Paul di Resta
DRS
on
for half
commentary
the
or
race.
something?
Yeah, I don't know. Where's Martin Brundle?
Yeah, bro, I like Martin, man. Like, what's wrong with this?
Why do we have this guy? Like, why is Paul di
Here's a
Resta there?
question. Here's a question. Why on earth has Natalie Pinkham not been hosting sooner? Like, she's like
I
been
don't know
running
who
this
she
stuff
is.
for so long.
I
Natalie
actually
Pinkham.
don't. I don't know.
No, bro, Google her name, she'll come up. She was hosting the Sky stuff. She was doing like is it Simon Lazenby or whatever it is? She was
Oh, I
doing the
think I
main
know who she
hosting.
is.
She was alongside Naomi Schiff, the racing driver, and I don't know what else she does. I think she's a racing. She hosts another thing on Sky now. At least Naomi does. Natalie
Oh,
Pinkham. If you've been
yes, I
watching
know who she is.
F1 for 5 minutes, you've seen Natalie Pinkham's face. She's been about for like what 20 years or something in F1.
Okay, I know who she is.
Yeah. Why has she been not been hosting sooner?
these men will settle for Paul di Resta and then whoever else. They will literally shove like, I don't know, the toilet cleaner on the TV before like.
Because he's driven
Why
an
is
F1 car.
I don't even care if he's driven an F1 car. Like he was in Force India for a couple years. Like I understand being in F1 is like a big thing, and you're one of 20 drivers that year, and all of this, and it's massive. But like, I would rather see her hosting stuff. Like
Why don't you
honestly,
like Paul di Resta? He's a very nice guy, man.
don't even try that. And to like even alongside that, like just other people in general. Sometimes they'll just I don't know, they'll shove anyone on and it feels like it's kind of annoying. Like there are certain people who I'd rather see at the Skypad than at the main analysis of the show or whatever doing the interviews. I feel like if people are doing interviews and stuff, I want to see her there doing like more stuff. I don't know, I just found it weird. It stood out to me that like this was the first time she'd actually been the main host of the show rather than just someone like interviewing the drivers in the corner or like, doing a little segment here and there. Like she was actually the main like star of the weekend or whatever. And I thought it was weird purely based on how long she's been in and around F1 doing this kind of stuff. That this was the first time I've seen her take the main stage because I thought she would have earned that like promotion or responsibility or whatever like ages ago.
Mm.
So I at least hope that this isn't the only time it's going to happen because it seems like Sky are rotating their people a lot more now. So I hope that she gets like more of
Obviously, with a lot of
a central
races
role.
this term, they have to do that a bit more.
Yeah,
I hope
but
they
I'm
just include Nico a bit more.
Well, yeah, if he's actually at the track, I'd like to see him. But if he's sat like you know, across the other side of the world, then
Still,
I'd rather not. That's
he's
another
better
thing.
than Paul di Resta.
True. But here's another thing, yeah, bro. Nico is trying to draw George out so much. Have you seen this clip? That was another thing that annoyed me this weekend. There was a lot of things that annoyed me this weekend.
You just say
Because
that what annoyed you this weekend is the fact that Lewis performed badly, and everyone was commenting on Lewis performing badly.
it's not obviously they're gonna bring it up, and I get it. But like, they're just having like a nice little interview or whatever it is, and then Nico comes in and goes, "Yo, so George, you great weekend, huh? Fully dominated Lewis. How did you do that? Why was he so slow?" Or something
It's
like that.
true.
Do you
Is
know?
it not
Do
true?
you know what I mean? And
Is it
it's
not
like,
true though?
yeah, but why is he ask like he could just ask him what he did well, not
Because he's
what's
he's
Lewis
now
doing
in
badly.
the media, so he has to ask these
Bro, just
questions.
interview Lewis instead, man. Like, yeah, I know that's the thing. That's why. George actually
Plus, for Nico, you have to say it probably actually feels very good to see someone just destroy
That's
Lewis.
the one. So I saw someone tweet like George is better than me. My response would have been, "Oh, sort of like how you dominated Lewis dominated you for 3 years." I thought that was funny. Part of me
Yeah,
wishes
obviously
George
for you, it's funny because it's just like, yeah, but
it's
Nico
true though,
Nico
isn't it?
won against Lewis, so
Yeah, and then ran off.
because he didn't need to do anymore.
Because he couldn't.
Lewis should have left last year, but
Uh
now we're just gonna watch Lewis for the next 2 years drive in the midfield.
Listen, I will get myself down to I will drive to Brackley myself and
You
find
can't
some
drive.
sort of performance in
You
that
don't
car.
have a driver's license.
You said I was going to drive there legally. Anyway, on to what even is that? That's about it, to be honest. Shall we do the predictions? I think that's it. Unless
Yeah.
there's something else you want to mention.
No. Let's talk about predictions. I want to see who's leading. It's 2-2, so
Cold. All right. So, well, first we're going to start off with the fantasy teams. I'm pretty sure you had a. So we got 13 members now in the Dirty Side the Grid fantasy team
yeah. There's
league.
someone
Sorry.
new. I'm not sure. He's now in second. Whoever is new is
I
in
know the
second
guys jumped to second, which is mad. Youssef's still leading, by the way, just as like a. If you
by
didn't
80
know.
points. Yeah, I had a
Yeah,
bad
the
weekend as well.
You did.
A
You've had an
terrible
awful
weekend.
weekend, and I still did worse. Okay, no, by awful weekend, you came fourth. So in the fantasy stuff, it will show you where
How
you
can you
came
see?
relative to everyone else. Yeah, if you click on your team, the
Oh
little
yeah, I came for.
number next to your points is your like race week specifically. You came fourth. I came like ninth or something. I had an awful week. I know it's so, but I did come ninth, yeah. So I put Ocon in there thinking he was going to do well. I thought Science was going to do well. Perez, I got points off, and then Kevin, so the main thing was Science and Leclerc kind of finessed me.
That's funny, man. I'm not gonna lie.
This guy, yeah, you're so lucky. You didn't change your team and your midfield drivers did solid. You got Perez in there, Magnussen and Bottas. Bottas like secured you points.
And
Ah,
Perez.
stuff. Yeah, I had
And
Perez and
Leclerc did well. He didn't. So Leclerc still got 60 points. That was
yeah, but
okay.
that's with the triple though, or the double, sorry.
Mm. Like I would have put it on Perez, looking back. Probably. But no, I would never put it on Perez ahead of Charles.
Guess we'll
I'm
see.
trying.
I
I'm
also,
trying to get Max into my team. If I have Max, Sainz, and Leclerc in my team, it'd be
bro, you know
amazing.
one guy, yeah, the new guy who just joined. His
Mm.
team is. Oh no, wait, hold on. It was somewhere else. Someone has a Perez. He has Max and Charles in his team, and Ferrari's the constructor in a mad way. Hold on.
I think it's the guy who's number one globally. Had Max, Charles, and Sainz, something like that.
Hold on.
Someone got 351 points this weekend.
Here he is. Here he is.
What?
Wait, yeah, say yours.
He had Verstappen, Leclerc, Norris, Magnussen, Albon, and Ferrari. And he had
That's
double
insane.
points on Leclerc, and like what's it called, the MD, whichever one, I don't know.
Oh, the Mega Driver, yeah, that's 3
Yeah, on
times.
Max.
That's big. That's huge. That's very big. So here's the guy I found him. He's Osama on our what's it called? On
Oh
our
yeah,
league.
he
So
didn't
he
actually
has.
make his team. His team is randomly made by
No,
F1.
you can't do that, bro. How's that randomized? Here's his team, yeah. Verstappen, Leclerc turbo driver, so he
Yeah.
would have finessed it if he turboed. Oh no, you can't turbo Max anyway. So he had Max, Leclerc, Magnussen, Bottas, and Albon, and then Ferrari as the constructor. Like the fact he's managed to get a decent team alongside having Ferrari as the constructor, Leclerc and Verstappen, that's I don't even know, man. I'm clearly doing something wrong. I've now gone from 4th to 7th, which is horrendous.
That's funny.
Luckily these people are like sort of close to me-ish, but like I'm really losing it at the front. So if I'm gonna win, I'm gonna need some fat comeback somehow. So yeah, good stuff. Hopefully I'll do better in the other one. Let's see what happened in the other one. So I forgot that it's a sprint race weekend. Well, actually, I think I mentioned it, but we didn't do predictions for the sprint. So we did
No,
strictly
I
quali
don't.
and race, right?
Yes.
Okay, so completely ignoring
I
the
didn't
sprint.
know there was a sprint. Like
Oh no, actually, I think we considered it. I did mention it, and we said we'd still, forgetting the sprint race, do qualifying and the race. So let's see what happened in qualifying. Right. So you said Charles, Max, Carlos. I said Charles, Carlos, Max. It was Max. Oh, what? It was Max, Carlos. No, Max. I always say the wrong one. Max, Charles, and Lando.
So we both got 0 basically.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, that's awful. Yeah.
And for the race?
Okay. Race results. So you said, oh, we both said the same thing. We said Charles, Max, Carlos. It was Max, Sergio, and Lando.
We both got 0 again.
That's another double 0. Driver of the day was Max Verstappen. We both put Charles Leclerc. Also
Ouch.
wrong. And then, you said 5 DNFs. I put 4. There were actually 2.
So we both got 0, so it's like 2-2.
I was
basically.
closer. Am I getting this point or not?
No. We still
So you
got
have
it
to
wrong.
guess the DNFs exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tragic. Okay, fine.
So it's basically, I think this week
0-0,
one
that
deserves to
stays
get a
level.
point.
Yeah, you know
no
what?
one
No, yeah,
deserves
no
to
one
get a
deserves it.
point.
Okay, that's fair enough. Hold on. Let me write it down. Luckily, I've prepared myself by making the grid early because I'm actually smart. So it's going to stay 2-2. Where's the Y?
We can only see your bet now.
Whoops. Cool. Actually, I've got an idea. I can just move this, can't I? Because you're the one recording.
Where are we going next week?
Next week or the week after, it is Miami.
Oh, damn.
I lied. I haven't actually made the grid early, so I'm going to have to make it now. So it's the Miami GP in America.
Max Charles Perez.
Wait a sec. So we've got name. What do you think of racing in a car park?
Let's not get started. You want to end this? You want to end this podcast?
You seen their painting like the track and all that stuff. I don't think there's actually. I think Ted on the notebook said there's no paddock tickets. They're just selling out. You have to either be with a sponsor, or there's only there's very limited grandstand seats. or you get like a
Obviously,
full-on like
bro, it's literally like a car park. Where would people go?
what I'm saying. This is why you need to race somewhere else. Race top
Indians.
3. An anti-American agenda. I won't say that. No, that I never said that. We'll get into it next week. Driver of the day, and then DNFs. Cool. Right, quality top
You
3.
go first. I always go first. You go first.
Fine. Whoops. How do I make it so that it's... Yeah, there we go. Cool. My quality top 3 is going to be, I'm going to say Max gets pole. Oh, yeah, no, Max gets pole. Charles second. Oh, should I back Perez to beat him, though? No, I'm not. Max, Charles, Perez. What about you?
Max, Charles, Carlos.
Interesting. Okay. The race. Okay, this is tough. This is tough. I'm
Max,
saying,
Charles. I'm saying Max, Charles, Carlos. No, Max, Charles, Perez.
okay. Oh, do I even? Nah, I don't want to. I'm leaning towards putting Perez ahead of Carlos. I mean, Charles. Why do I always get them the wrong way around? I'm thinking of putting
Come
ahead of the
on,
other.
come on.
But
This is my action.
I'm gonna go with Max first. No, yeah, I'm gonna have to back it. I'm gonna say what you said, same as my qualifying one. Driver of the day,
Max.
Max. Okay. I'd say if he wins from pole, I'm gonna go left field. I'm gonna go with. George doesn't get ratings though. No one gets ratings because no one
It's
knows the
literally just
pace of the
Max.
car.
Whoever won.
Yeah, that's
That.
the problem because no one knows the pace of the car. Like Vettel put it in 8th in an Aston Martin, and no one's giving him driver of the day. Like, why?
I'd say George is the one who should have won driver. Yeah.
Yeah, or Lando. Like, but
Mm.
even then, why is Lando not getting? This is tough. Will people actually? What if I just rig the vote somehow? I'm gonna go with. Screw it, no, George Russell. Let's see what George Russell does. Actually, no, it's straight
5
lines. He didn't.
DNS.
Oh no, I'm lying.
No, that's it. It's locked in. He said George Russell.
Bro, I'm the one with the thing. That's not how it works.
No, it's George Russell.
It's not
You
George.
don't get points
It
for
really
it.
isn't George Russell.
It is
I'm
George
going
Russell.
with. It's going. it's, screw it. Lando Norris. I wanted to say Lando. DNFs. What do you
5.
reckon? It's a sprint race. But I mean street.
Is there a
race.
sprint race?
No, it's a street. Sorry, I meant street circuit.
5.
That's ridiculous. I'm going with 3.
5.
Sick. So, those are our predictions. That's about it, really. We will maybe record next week, maybe not. We will definitely be back with a Miami race review. Give us ratings on the audio platforms. If you've listened in, you can give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It would help us out a lot. Check out the YouTube. We'll be posting like clips and videos and stuff. And let us know what you think about the thumbnails. Actually, we're going to have some fresh thumbnails going on in that and a new look on the video, hopefully. So if you're an audio listener, have a look at the video, see what you think about that. And yeah, follow us on our socials because we've made a new Instagram and Twitter. They will be linked everywhere. That is it. We will see you next week. Bye.